Okay, hey guys. So today I'm gonna talk about DAO, not from a general point of view, but from a specific point of view, that is the governance. So how the governance process of a DAO works, and in particular, what is the difference between an on-chain governance and an off-chain governance. So okay. So a little bit about me. I'm a project manager working in the Web3 space since 2018 at this point. So first with my own startup from 2019 to 2020, and then working in different several Web3 companies and Web3 projects as a project manager and also as a Solidity developer. So in particular, I had the opportunity to work a lot on governances. So I had the opportunity to develop an on-chain protocol for DAOs, full customizable, extensible, and so on. So I really care about this topic. So this is the reason why I'm going to talk about DAO today. So this is the definition of DAO written by the Ethereum Foundation. And it says, a DAO is a collectively owned blockchain-governed organization working towards a shared mission. Blockchain-based rules back into the code define how the organization works and how funds are spent. And they have also built-in treasury where no one has the authority to access without the approval of the group, and decisions are governed by proposal and voting to ensure everyone in the organization has a voice and everything happens transparently on-chain. So here there are some relevant elements about DAOs. So the first one is that it's a collectively owned blockchain governed organization with a shared missions. And also that blockchain-based rules are piece of codes because are smart contracts. So, and this piece of codes define how the organization works and how funds are spent. So funds are another important element because DAOs, most of the time, has a treasury, so they can spend money, they can earn money, are something similar to startup in the real world. So they can generate money through a business model and they can spend money and distribute them. And another important element is the voting process. So decisions in a DAO are taken by a group of people called token holders, so the holders of a specific governance token, voting to decide basically what the DAOs should do. So here there is a big misconception because the name DAO, so decentralized autonomous organization, when talking about DAO, there is this big misconception that a DAO is completely governed in a decentralized way, so by a group of people, so by token holders. But the reality is that this is partially true because the reality is that there is always a group of people or a real world company or a foundation behind a DAO. So basically when someone creates a DAO, they create this DAO and then they became the core team of the DAO. So they can create, for example, a real world company carrying out the development of the protocol. So executing the protocol upgrades, executing bug fixing, providing also strategic direction. So when talking about DAO, it's very important to understand that there are token holders, so people voting for something, but then there is also a core team, so a company behind the DAO. So here there are some relevant elements when talking about DAO. So the core team, the governance token, so the token through which you can vote for something, token holders, and proposals. So the proposals basically are the tools through which token holder can make decisions in a DAO. Here, this is a real DAO, probably the most famous one, that is Uniswap DAO. So Uniswap is a decentralized protocol, it's a decentralized financial protocol. Behind the Uniswap protocol, there is the Uniswap DAO. The Uniswap DAO has a core team, so a real work company that is Uniswap Labs, that is a company in the United States. There is a governance token, that is the UNI token, and so the token holders are the holders of the UNI token. So let's talk about DAO governance. So basically, the governance is the capability to contribute through your vote to the decision making of an organization, so in this case a DAO. So when talking about DAO governance, it means that a DAO is governed by token holders who can make decisions about the future of the project, for example, technical upgrades and treasury allocations. So token holders can create proposals about the future operation of the protocol, and they can vote for or against them. And proposals that achieve some predefined level of consensus are then accepted and should be enforced by the rules instantiated within a smart contract. So how, from a practical point of view, how these things work? So basically, there are two kinds of proposals regarding a DAO. We have off-chain proposals and on-chain proposals. And depending on if a DAO is using off-chain or on-chain proposals, that DAO will have an off-chain governance, an on-chain governance, or a mix. So a DAO using both off-chain and on-chain proposals. So let's talk about off-chain proposals. Off-chain proposals are basically a poll, so un sondaggio. In the real world, political elections are off-chain proposals. So off-chain proposal means that the vote and the final result is in no way guarantees that the change will be made. So for example, let's talk about political elections. So when you vote in a political election, you are voting on a program, an electoral program. And when you vote, you hope that that person will do everything that is written on that political program, but you can't be sure of that. So basically, they can do all the things that they wrote, or maybe they can do something, or maybe they can do completely different things. So off-chain proposals are political elections, so are just a poll. The main platforms used to create and vote on off-chain proposal are Discord, because Discord is used also for DAOs, Snapchat, and Propose, that is another cool platform built by a DAO providing open source protocols. So how an off-chain proposal works? So basically we have three phases. The first one is the proposal creation phase, where the core team, so the real world company behind the DAO or a token holder, depending on the DAO, can create a proposal. Then we have the proposal voting phase, where token holders can vote for or against that proposal. And then we have the proposal execution phase, where the core team behind the DAO can decide to follow the proposal result, so make that change, or it can decide to make a completely different thing from that proposal result. Here is an example of an off-chain proposal on Snapshot. So this is the Snapshot platform. This is a real off-chain proposal made where? Okay, December 2022. Made on the Uniswap. So it's a proposal regarding Uniswap. So this is basically a poll, a question to token holders to understand if they like to deploy the new protocol, Uniswap v3, on the Scroll testnet. So Scroll testnet is another chain, is a blockchain, a testnet blockchain. So as you can see here, the result was yes, with 99% of votes. But again, when you vote on an off-chain proposal, you can't be sure that that change will be made. In this case, the Uniswap Labs deployed the Uniswap v3 protocol on Scroll testnet. Then we have on-chain proposals that are completely different things and are very, very cool, because it's something that couldn't exist without the blockchain technology. So an on-chain proposal is not a poll, so it's not a question, but is a code execution request. So the main usage are add new features to the protocol, upgrade the protocol architecture, or bug fixing. So the main difference is this one. So the vote and the final result guarantees that the change will be made because the proposal is related to the smart contracting point. In this case, we have several different platforms to create and vote on on-chain proposals, such as Aragon, Compound, and Tally. What means that a non-chain proposal is a code execution request, and why this thing can happen only on blockchain technology? So here is the process. We have the same three phases of chain proposal, but in this case, where the core team or the token holder, depending on the DAO, create the proposal is not a text, so it's not a question, but is a piece of code, and in particular is a smart contract. So they are submitting a smart contract into the blockchain, and then the token holders vote the proposal against or for the proposal. And when the voting period ends and we have a result, you can be sure that that piece of code, so that smart contract, will be executed. So again, it's not a text, but in this case, it's code. So here is, we have two examples of an on-chain proposal. The one on the left is probably the most simple on-chain proposal that you can make. That is just a transfer from a wallet. So in this case, it's a transfer of this amount of GTC, that is Gitcoin token, and the equivalent of that amount of US dollar from this wallet, I don't know if you can see it, from this wallet to this other one. So probably this wallet is the DAO wallet. So if you vote for this proposal, and if this proposal passes, this amount of money will be automatically sent from the DAO wallet to the recipient wallet. So this is a transfer. The one on the right is more complex, is a protocol upgrade in this case. So it's a protocol upgrade for the Compound protocol. So if you vote for that proposal, the change that will be made are those ones. So set the supply cap for wet and deploy and upgrade and so on. So as you can see, of course, in the front end, we have the text that in this case is just the explanation of the piece of code behind this proposal. This is a cool tweet that I read yesterday when writing these slides. And it is made by a person working on Aragon OS, that is one of the most important governance protocols in the Web3 space. And he said, why did we build blockchain if you continue to govern off-chain? And this is completely true, in my opinion. And here we have a difference between an off-chain governance and an on-chain governance. So an off-chain governance, so true off-chain proposal, consists of a simple poll, while on-chain proposal are code execution requests because you are submitting to the on-chain a piece of code that will be executed. Automation, we don't have automation for off-chain proposal because it's just a question, while we have automation on-chain proposal because that piece of code will be executed. So when creating off-chain proposal, we don't have a cost. While when submitting an on-chain proposal, we have a cost because we are deploying something on the blockchain. As Limone said before, every time you interact with the blockchain, you have to pay a gas fee. So in this case, even just to create an on-chain proposal, you have to pay something. The complexity is another important element because when asking for something, you don't have complexity because it's just a poll. While if you are submitting code, it means that you have to write some code. So the complexity is higher than off-chain proposal. And the last point is the team effort. So what is the team effort? So the core team effort while doing an off-chain proposal is low at the beginning when submitting because you are just writing a text, and is high later because you have to write code if you want to make that change regarding the proposal. While the on-chain proposal is completely different because you have to write code first even when you have to create the proposal, and the effort is low after the voting phase because we have automation. So those changes will be automatically made into the protocol. Okay, yeah. This is probably the right point when talking about DAO governance. So it's a mix between off-chain and on-chain proposals. So this is an example of a proposal made by ZK Sync, I think, Matter Labs. Yeah, ZK Sync. This is another relevant project in the Web3 space. And as you can see, this is a non-chain proposal, but in the proposal history, there is a reference to a previous off-chain proposal. So basically, they are using off-chain proposal to understand what the community wants, and then they are submitting an on-chain proposal related to that previous off-chain proposal. So this is a cool mix. Okay, here you have some cool references if you want to learn something more about DAOs, and in particular about on-chain governance. In particular, the first two are really cool articles, very technical. While here, these are documentations of relevant on-chain governance protocols. So we have Open Zeppelin Governor, the first one, the Compound, Aragon, and Moloch DAO. And then I brought some research proposals for you, if you like this topic. So the first one is just understand how the different on-chain governance system works, because we have, for example, here I wrote 5 different protocols for on-chain governance, but there are a lot of different on-chain governance protocols. Then the second one is anonymous voting in a DAO governance using zero-knowledge technology. That is probably the biggest trend of 2023 in the Web3 space, the zero-knowledge technology applied to different topics such as governance. The third one is credential voting in a DAO using decentralized identifiers such as Polygon ID. So basically, you can prove through these decentralized identifiers that you have some capabilities or requirements without exposing them on chain, and so that you can vote on a DAO only if you have some requirements. And the last one is quite simple. That is a cross-chain voting in a DAO. So it means that it's possible to vote, for example, on the Ethereum mainnet if you hold a governance token on Arbitrum or another layer 2 or rollup. Thank you. These are my contacts, and most importantly, Urbe contacts on the right. Thank you.